G'day and welcome to it's got to be our top performance car picks for 2024. I should say, these are the cars we would personally go for, sort of mixed with the cars that we would recommend you to buy.
Yeah, I'm a bit swayed because I feel every performance car should have some chops on track, and in some cases also be a good daily. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I think we need to define what a performance car is, and I think even in today's day and age, this is a huge one, because for anyone that's driven the standard Hyundai Ioniq 5 or even a Kia EV6, those things are so rapid. They are so fast.
In a straight line.
In a straight line, but they're not enjoyable to drive. What I'm trying to get at, I don't think a performance car necessarily should be judged on sheer acceleration or even lap times anymore. I argue that there are a whole bunch of very cheap little hot hatches that are way more fun to drive and more of a performance car than some of these incredibly fast EVs.
Yeah, capable of putting a smile on your face.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's the core, isn't it? A performance car. Let's just dilute this down to its absolute core. It's a car that prioritizes driver engagement and fun, either equally or above things like practicality. I don't think acceleration times have a whole lot to do with it.
Not really.
Shall we get into this?
Let's get into it.
Also, the way we're going to do this, we're going to go, let's say, the more popular categories of performance cars, starting with really small cars, city car size.
Very small, yeah.
And also nominees and then our individual winners. Let's start with the nominees.
Yeah, sure.
First of all, Toyota Echo Sportivo. This thing.
What a great car.
Brilliant car.
Yep.
I remember when these were $3,000 to $4,000. They're more like $7,000 to $9,000.
Yeah, you don't see many of them. No.
Super underrated. The only negative with this car is the seating position. That's easily fixed.
The difference between these and a standard Echo is they're 1.5, not 1.3.
Yep.
They're all manual, and they do have some quite tasty little aero, not really aero, just some stick-on bits.
Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, super underrated performance car. This is so much fun.
Because they weigh about, 800 kilograms or something. So. Nothing to them. The next up is the Abarth 595. And the 695.
Yep.
Yeah.
Caveat here, has to be a post-2020 model.
Yeah.
Pre-2020, you might want to go and watch our maybe performance cars you don't want to buy list. But
post-2020, the longer they made them, the better they got, and the post-2020 is okay.
Yep.
And tunable, and can be very quick.
Yeah, I love the sound. Yeah. Fantastic sound. Let's get into the winners. Jim, who's your winner for this category?
My winner for this category is the it's the AutoZam.
The AZ1?
Yeah, the AZ1.
Why?
Because gull-wing doors. That's enough, isn't it?
Have
you seen them?
I know, well, we have a mate that owns one.
So good.
Fun fact, Jerome that owns the Tesla Model S that we reviewed, I think it was one of our first cars we ever reviewed. He owns an AZ1 as well.
Yeah.
And that man has taste in cars.
If your race car has gull-wing doors, it is a proper race car.
Yeah, I actually drove that. He's going to hate this, but I drove that before he did, and it is so much fun to drive. It absolutely nails small performance car. Not as much as I think mine does.
No, well, I also have an honourable mention to the Echo because they're cheap.
The Echo,
And if you are absolute grass sports motorsport, that is not a bad place. I'm talking like kids, 13, 14-year-olds, like, motor carners and things like that. That is a perfect car for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know it's like a 2 degree of separation thing. I know somebody that used to track his 911s and got sick and tired of fixing them. And granted, he was working on them hard, and they weren't the better 911s. But he's out of that now, and he has an Echo Sportivo that he tracks, and he thinks it's actually more fun than the 911s because it's so cheap.
It doesn't matter if you've been it.
Doesn't matter.
Really.
And everything on it, all the parts are cheap as chips.
Yeah.
My winner?
Yep, let's go.
Suzuki Alto Works. This thing, I think I've said it in the actual video, because we made a video review of this car. Link is down below. This is a 1960s Mini Cooper S for the modern day.
Yeah, slightly less of a death trap.
It is so much fun. Yep. Every trip I've made in that car, outrageously hilarious, but it has balance. It is actually a great little performance car. Fun fact as well, after we shot that video, Go Garage, the guys that imported it, another one had arrived during our time with the one we filmed, which had quite a lot of, I think it was HKS tuning gear on it. It is a genuinely fast car.
Hilarious.
Almost terrifying. Brilliant car, Suzuki Alto Works. Now, price-wise, they do range sort of $19,000 to $25,000. it's a decent chunk of money for
I think
a
for
tiny
that
little
price,
car.
I think they throw in the torque steer for free, don't they?
Well, mine didn't talk to you. Okay, the tuned one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. And your AZ1, you're looking 30 to 40,000
which
bucks.
is too much, really.
It's a lot of money.
But it's gull-wing doors.
I know, but it's a lot of money for not a lot of physical car.
Gull-wing doors.
That's what I tried to tell Jerome, but he still went and bought one, didn't he? Classic. Okay, our next category, we're talking small cars. So we're talking anything in that sort of Mazda 2 Yaris kind of size.
Yeah.
You start with the nominees.
My nominees are, I've got the i20N.
Oh, cracker.
Yeah,
Cracking car.
It's a good car. That's my nominee, not my winner though.
What are they going for? Yeah, $25,000 to $40,000.
No, absolutely nothing wrong with that car.
Brilliant. Also has a track warranty. Thank you, Hyundai. Fantastic. I have any Suzuki Swift Sport. Doesn't matter. Price range anywhere from, I think the cheap one's about $4,000 up to sort of mid-30s, I think, in that range. It doesn't matter which Swift Sport. Buy the best one that you can afford. They are all crackers.
Yeah. Also the Fiesta ST. Now, like that one, it's a good all-rounder.
Just a fun fact on that. That's my car, everybody. That's my daily driver. The Mark 8, this is one of these funny things with cars. The Mark 8, the model after that, is the better car. It's easy to live with. It's a 5-door. I just prefer the Mark 7. That's not saying anything against a Mark 8.
Better engine.
Yeah, I just like a Mark 7 better. It's funny. It's one of those great examples that a Mark 8 is objectively the better car. I just prefer the Mark 7. Hence,
I get
owning this.
Yeah. Much cheaper too for the Mark 7, right?
Well, I don't know. They're actually holding their value really well because of the 4-pot and 3-door, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I have as a nominee the Nissan Note e-Power Nismo.
You love that car.
What a brilliant car.
I haven't driven one, so a bit hard for me to be, objective about it. But yeah.
All the cars that we've reviewed and that we're mentioning in this list, all the links are down below. Genius hybrid system. If this is the future of hot hatches, I'm all about it. That thing gets like 1,200 kilometres per tank.
And rapid.
Yeah, off the line, I don't think there's a lot that can keep up with one of these things up to about 70 kilometres an hour. It's like full EV style power with none of the range anxiety or negatives. The only issue, actually maybe not that big of an issue, pricing range anywhere from 16, 18 up to mid $30,000 kind of realm for that. My winner for the small car category.
No-brainer, really.
It is a bit of a no-brainer. It is the car at the back under the blanket. It is the Toyota GR Yaris.
Yeah, what a good thing. I have to choose that because, well, I own one.
Yeah.
But I own one because I think it's the best in the category.
Absolutely. That car with a few smart mods, don't go over the top with it. Specifically diffs, you add some diffs to it.
Put some diffs in it.
That is a cracker of a car. You track yours all the time.
I did, 3 years of bunch of track days, and it's surprisingly quick. Even it does punch above its weight, no doubt about it.
Well, you won the Australian Super Sprint Championship.
Yeah, well, I had nothing to do with it. It was all the car.
Well, no, it was a lot of you. Pricing range at the moment, low 40s, or say let's say high 30s, $37,000, $38,000, up to about $60,000.
Yeah, I think that's a bit much.
Is a little, but special car, homologation special. Very hard to go past that. GR Yaris, winner for small cars.
Yeah, good thing.
Okay, this is a highly competitive category, medium cars. So we're talking anything Mazda 3, Corolla sort of sizing.
A lot of options here.
Yes.
Including the GR Corolla. That's an option in this category.
Yep. That nearly would have won for me. The issue with it actually has nothing to do with the performance part of it, it's with the practicality. It's the opening boot aperture. It's a bit small, and also rear legroom's a bit of a nightmare. And I just think there's better cars in this category. Really good thing.
Different cars as well.
Yes.
Hard to pick a winner here, actually.
Really hard.
Yeah.
What else have you got on the nominees?
I've got a Honda Accord Euro Type R. I think that's on your list as well.
This is on mine as well. The reason this one, Honda Accord Euro as a car is absolutely phenomenal. So incredibly underrated. In Type R form, I haven't driven one, but we have a friend, Eric, that owns one and raves about it. And he's had a hell of a garage of cars, and he raves about this thing. Everybody I know that has had anything to do with an Accord Euro Type R is just dumbfounded what a brilliant car it is. And they're pretty affordable okay, normal Euro is going to start around $8,000.
Yep.
But the Type Rs, even they top out at $25,000, $30,000, which I know might seem a lot for an older car, but these things, they've got pedigree, they've got balance, they've got a great engine, they're super reliable.
I don't know if that's something you'd pick if you're going to do track days, but it's something if you had, you could do a track day in it.
Yeah.
They're fine, but if you did a lot of track days, it's probably not the best choice.
I also like that it
Having
flies.
said that, my winner and honourable mention aren't the best track day cars either.
Speaking of more nominees and Hondas, Honda Civic Type R, the brand new one, really good.
That could have been a winner in this category.
It came bloody close, but we'll get to the reason why in a second.
Yeah.
I love these things. Again, haven't actually driven one, but so many of my mates haven't driven one because Honda Australia haven't lent us one yet. But on all reports, one of the all-time great front-wheel drive cars.
They're good. They're a good thing. What's your winner here?
Okay, I've still got nominees.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Bloody hell. Ford Focus ST. We only just filmed it recently. It's like a car I'd forgotten about, even though I own a Fiesta ST. That thing...
It's like a grown-up version of that, really.
It is. That with the diff, suspension and an aftermarket infotainment system is about all the hot hatch anyone would ever need. But in this list, we're not allowing too many modifications to come into...
And a mild tune, they're capable of 300 horsepower and they're rapid.
Yeah, and hopefully if they haven't been ruined with terrible mods or abusive driving, pretty reliable.
They can blow up if you lean on them too hard.
Yes.
It's in our video, check it out.
Yes. So my winner is the Hyundai i30N, specifically in fastback form, because it's easily as practical as the Civic Type R. I love that it looks just a bit different and unique. It has track warranty if you get a relatively new one.
Is it heavier than the hatch?
I don't know.
I'd be curious to find out.
I've been fortunate enough to do a stack of track stuff with the N guys, and out of all of the N product, for some reason the fastback just grabbed me the most, both on road and on track. Living with it is wonderful. Tech is good, super reliable, phenomenal support network. Hyundai do a great job with that.
It looks good in black.
Looks good in black. I like the there's like a grey, kind of silvery grey colour. What's your winner?
I've got equal winner here, and this might surprise some people because I often rag on Euro. I'm quite fond of an RS3. It's got to be the current. I'm such a hypocrite, I know. No. Look, and it's there because you can do everything in it, and basically what gets it over the line for me is the 5-cylinder engine in it. They just sound. It just gives me goosebumps. I love it. I love the sound of it.
I think you're wrong.
Infinite. I'm okay being wrong. I know, and a lot of people will be surprised that I'm actually saying an Audi on this list is my favourite car, which is almost as surprising as my honourable mention car, is the M140i.
Okay, I'll go with you on the M140i. M140i, I totally agree with, but I can't agree with you on the RS3. Sorry, the RS3 for me just left me kind of a bit flat. They're very quick, very fast. Yes, they sound great. That engine's epic. Yeah.
It is, it literally, it's on paper really not much better than a Golf R, really, but it's the 5-cylinder engine. I think it just harks back to the old Group B rally days, the 5-cylinder engines in the Audis. I love the sound of it.
Here's my issue with it. The thing you do all of the time, even if you're in traffic, is you steer. Right? You can't, that 5-cylinder engine is great if you can give it the beans. Yeah. And zipping in and out of traffic and acting like a dickhead, great. But the thing you do all the time, turning into a car park or a drive-through, is steering. And for me, the steering just feels like a Golf. Yeah, it feels a bit heavier.
It's a bit soggy,
Yeah, I don't know. It just, every time I drive an RS3, I just go, whatever. But then M140i, what a car.
Well, that does it for me because of the B58. They are very tunable. And the rear-wheel drive platform, it's a really good starting point for a bunch of motorsport stuff,
Yep. I also think the M140i is special because it's a rear-wheel drive hatchback. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yep.
I was actually, I was really torn between M140i and i30N. And the reason I went the i30N is just the levels of practicality and that support from Hyundai. The N support and also N community. I've done stacks with these guys, and Skoda have an incredible owners group community, but Hyundai N people, and even Kia people to an extension of that, are way up there. Fantastic community. Next up, let's go to large-ish cars. Now, I say large-ish because this is going to range from sort of Mazda 6 size up to Commodore, Camry kind of sizing. Fabio, I really like this category. nearly as much as another one coming
It's a very grown-up and almost responsible category, isn't it?
It is. Shall we go nominees?
Yeah. What do you got?
I'm going to go, I love this car, and this came so close to winning for me. Alfa Romeo Giulia.
Yeah.
Way more reliable than anyone thinks.
Yep.
Sexy as hell to look at, sit in, steer, be near, talk about, say the name. It's just...
Say the name?
Giulia. Okay. I wish I was Italian because what a great car. Yeah. What a great car. Just not quite as good as the car that wins.
Doesn't have a great reputation for reliability, which is completely unfounded.
Yeah.
When we were doing the research for that car, aside a few electrical gremlins, they are, mechanically speaking, they are remarkably reliable.
Yep. Next up, I've got BMW M5 E39, which is one of my all-time favourite M cars. Getting a little bit expensive for what it is, but I still think this is the best.
Very cool.
Very cool. And I think it's the best M car of all time. And price-wise, what are we looking at now? Yeah, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, which is up there, but it's a special bit of gear.
Yeah, a bit collectible too.
Yep.
What about M3?
Yeah.
So how are they in the same? I guess an E39, the size of an E39 is comparable to a modern M3, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
An M3 I would never classify as a large car, but a new M3 is a large car.
It's a big car.
Yeah.
I still can't get the front. The front end for me, if you ignore directly head on, the rest of it, I can get around the design of it.
Look, a stunning car, great and rapid, super fast.
Well, this is my issue with it. The problem with the car is it's just too fast. Like, you can't use that performance on Aussie roads. It's like everything that's coming out now that is so quick, you're just going, oh my God, I've got to back out of this.
Not a bad track day thing, but there's probably, for value for money, there's probably better things you could get.
Yeah, absolutely. What else have you got in your nominees?
Well, I've got two winners here. I'm going to jump straight to my winners.
Go.
The IS500.
Oh.
V8 rear-wheel drive. Sounds great. Super reliable.
Also,
looks great.
Unbelievably exclusive, because I think there might be 6 in the country. Yeah. Maybe a touch more. This is the...
Not a great track day.
Well, this was initially only for the North American market, and then Japan have made some, not many, and there are some coming as imports. You're looking over $100,000. But I argue as well that an IS500 is a cooler car than an M3, way cooler than a C63.
Yeah, almost. Definitely infinitely more reliable than the C63.
Oh yeah, and I would have that over, as much as it hurts me to say, because I love the Giulia, I'd have an IS500 over the Giulia.
Yeah, very cool.
Also, being a Lexus, super reliable, and being part of the IS range that we already have, I'm thinking parts wouldn't actually be as impossible to get as it could be on some other imports.
What was your winner?
Mine's the mine's the, let's say the slightly more mature cousin to the IS500. Mine's the Lexus GSF.
Excellent choice.
Not many cars have grabbed me as much as that GSF. Up until driving that, I'm not normally a big fan of... I appreciate and respect that genre of big performance car, but GSF, that thing, what a car. Build quality and fit and finish, outrageously good. Also, they bloody hold their value. You're looking at really early ones, about $70,000. Later models, about $145,000, $150,000. So it's a lot of cash, but you are getting so much car. I'd have that over an M5, any AMG product. Brilliant.
I have honourable mention goes to Holden Commodore.
Okay.
Only because it's cheap. It's got an LS in it, and if you want to go, it's cheaper than everything else on this list.
So we're talking LS powered towards that VF Series 2.
Well, you know what? Any of the LS powered Commodores. If you want to build a race car on a budget and you want a rear-wheel drive V8, I don't think there's any better place to start. Really, in terms of affordability and the support network for LS engines, they're cheap and a good place to start for a race car.
The issue that these have, and
big and heavy though, but still.
We mentioned this when we did the VF, the crazy thing with the supercharger, which was so fast. The issue here is these cars have been ruined by association. I use this same analogy anytime I talk to anybody about Commodores. It's the same as Cold Chisel. Cold Chisel write fantastic songs. Flame Trees, epically good song, but unfortunately they've been ruined by association. So you go, Cold Chisel, shitty rock, And it's the same with Commodores.
Aussie Bogan rock band. For anyone who doesn't know who they are.
VF Series 2, with a V8 in it.
Yeah.
Great car. Unfortunately, you've got to tell your friends that you just bought a Commodore.
I was thinking more of the older platforms,
Okay.
anything with an LS in it.
Yep.
They go back forever, like a VE.
Yep. I do love the sport wagon, but that's a different genre.
Yeah.
It's time for another Wipertech challenge. Will it wipe today's victim, Alphagetti, which is a bit like spaghetti, but just little tiny letters. Now, before we see how they wipe, Wipertech wiper blades are so easy to order online. They're a breeze to fit, and if you order a set via the link, you're going to get 15% off and free express shipping. Let's see if they wipe. Okay, next up, Alphagetti. Go for it. Oh, wow. That's great. I smashed it, literally. These things absolutely nailed that, so they're easily going to handle anything that you can throw at them. Get yourself a set today.
Okay, next category. Personally, my favourite category.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, this is everybody's favourite category. I don't think this is a subjective thing. I think objectively, we all understand that a fast station wagon is the coolest car of all
Possibly
time.
the coolest car.
Not possibly. It is the coolest car of all time. Okay.
Some of them are cool. Not necessarily performance car by design. Some of the wagons have some performance chops.
Yes.
Yeah.
My first two nominees, I'm going to go two because it's the same brand and I used to own one of these and stupidly sold it. Volvo 850R. Mine was modified to look a lot like the British touring car without obviously the stickers and whatnot, but same wheels and about the same height, so I couldn't get over any speed humps. Cracking good car, some reliability issues there and cost of ownership. A car that we haven't reviewed, and if anybody out there owns one of these, can we please review it?
I think I know. We had one in yesterday.
Are you
rego
serious?
check. Yep.
Oh, we've got to get that.
Yeah, I
on.
didn't even think at the time, but I'll give him a call.
It's the Volvo V60 Polestar wagon. I don't know if these are reliable. We haven't done the research on it yet, so I'm not going to pass any judgment on reliability
Polestar
here.
gone under yet?
Well, that's a whole other conversation, isn't it, Jim? That's a totally different conversation.
Sorry to paint the waters with my economic realism.
I just love them. I hope they're great.
Well, you used to have one of these too, the Stagia.
I did. I think you're talking the
early
RB
one.
powered.
Yeah. One with the RB in it, the earlier shape.
Yep, I had the M35.
Yeah.
Great car.
Great car.
Thirsty.
But it's a little bit cool for a wagon. They're a bit fragile, but yeah, kind of cool. Well, too expensive now.
Yeah, the
Crazy money.
The proper Stagias are really pushing the prices up.
Yeah.
I have another nominee here, which is going to be controversial. We all love the M3 Touring, as does everybody, because you can't buy them. There's back orders for them.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Australia didn't receive the M340i Touring, which is just stupid from BMW Australia. You bring in these horrendously ugly pieces of shit SUVs, and God, I don't know what you're thinking.
The ones that people buy.
No, they don't. That's the thing.
Well,
yeah.
They probably buy that over what you're about to nominate.
Well, yeah, but I think an M340i in touring form, I reckon they would sell a stack of it.
Probably would, yeah.
But I reckon there's a cooler car than both the M3 Touring and the M340i Touring. It's the Alpina B3 Touring.
Okay, yeah, that is cool.
It just steps up your coolness factor because it's an Alpina. An Alpina, as good as BMW M are, Alpina are cooler.
Yeah.
What a special thing. My winner is the Skoda Octavia RS. I think it's the RS230. It's the manual with the front diff.
Yep, okay.
Brilliant car. I know there are some reliability concerns, water pumps, that sort of thing. Taking that into account, fantastic.
And by the way, we are well aware that none of the cars on this list make any sense in terms of price, and none of them really compare properly. But you get the gist of it. And just look at some of the BMWs compared to a Skoda.
This is true.
Big difference in price.
Good point.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. Okay, an M3 Touring, you're looking at a couple $100,000.
I know. It's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous car.
I know. In a Skoda Octavia RS, you're looking at anywhere from 20 to 40,000 bucks, maybe 45.
Yeah.
And I argue that an Octavia RS wagon is as entertaining and as fun to drive as an M3 Touring 95% of the time. It's not until you get on a racetrack or you're really punting the thing.
Yeah.
But then again, as I mentioned before, the problem with the M3 Touring, it's so bloody fast.
Yeah.
If you have a proper punt on a public road, bye-bye license.
Any of these cars, that's the case.
Yeah.
My winner is the good old Evo 9 wagon.
Brilliant.
I mean, it's clearly the winner.
I'll be honest, I was between these
Yeah.
two as my winner. Evo 9 wagon. Oh.
Yeah, they're just dripping in coolness. 4G63. If you know Evos,
Yep.
infinitely tunable.
Yep.
Great car. It's a wagon.
Yeah.
The way they pump the rear arches on those,
Oh.
I could just stand there and look at that all day. It's it's so cool.
I think we called this a tie between the Skoda and the Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
I think they're both fantastic. Just real quick, everyone's going to be wondering why there's no Golf R wagon mentioned. You might want to go and watch the other video for that. I just argue that the Skoda Octavia RS is way more fun than a Golf R. But go watch the cars we would not recommend.
And cheaper.
He is cheaper, yeah, and does everything just as well.
Pretty much.
Okay, next up, controversial category here, one that Jim really loves.
I really wanted to abstain from this whole category, but I'm being forced to do it.
It's a very popular category.
Yeah, I know.
Performance SUVs, which does sound a little bit like a contradiction in terms, but it is a thing. We have to face up to it. This is a thing. But I think there are some good ones. Hence
Good at what?
Hence nominations.
Okay. All right.
First nomination is the Hyundai Kona N. Okay, just go buy an i30N. But in all honesty, the Kona N, again, I've tracked this car. I've spent a lot of time behind the wheel of
not a
these
bad
things,
thing.
and it is surprisingly good for a little SUV.
Yeah.
Cracking thing.
Is it as good as a i30N?
No, of course not. No, you should just buy an i30N.
Just curious.
Or an i20N.
Yeah.
40 to 50,000 bucks.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, next up is the Subaru Forester STI, not tuned by STI, legit
yeah,
STIs
STI, yeah.
from back in the day.
Yeah.
20 to 40,000 bucks.
Yeah.
There are some issues.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's a great daily.
Yeah, and they're expensive to maintain.
Yeah.
Servicing is expensive.
Yeah.
There's a few little gremlins hiding there. But as far as a performance SUV goes, if you're willing to commit to an import and a Subaru performance car, and you know what you're getting yourself
Are there
into.
other Subaru STI products that aren't SUVs? Let me just possibly maybe might be better value and better at performance-y things. Just curious, sorry.
No, it's cool. This hurts me because the car that comes in second place is one of my all-time favourites. But this is one of these heart versus head scenarios, and my head is ruling the results here.
Yeah.
My runner-up, or I suppose our runner-up,
Yeah.
this is a category we've agreed on, is the Mitsubishi Pajero Evo.
It's very cool. Very cool JDM, homologation special, probably somewhat collectible, probably appreciating in value.
Cars don't get a whole lot cooler than a Mitsubishi Pajero Evo. Obviously, a performance wagon is cooler because they're the coolest.
And what cool old school JDM car that comes out with factory livery is not cool?
It's amazing.
The stickers on them are just very cool.
You're looking $45,000 to $60,000-ish, which is a lot for an old Mitsubishi Pajero, but it is so cool. I'm going to go as far as saying that if you've gone and bought yourself a new 3-door Defender, even with the V8, you've bought the wrong car.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy a 3-door SUV and you want some performance chops and actual credibility, and you want to up your levels of cool, Pajero Evo over that Defender every day of the
More
week.
cool than performance, though,
Yep.
but still.
And our winner,
Which we agree on, and I'm here under sufferance, I might add.
Porsche Macan, specifically the GTS. The turbo's too fast. You don't need a turbo. They're so fast.
Do Porsche make other cars that are fast?
Yeah, but
I wondered, that's all.
and I know we're not supposed to be, including modifications into this list to make it good. There's a Macan GTS that lives near me that's been lowered, and
Like a fast Porsche.
no, like a fast wagon.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like if
Okay,
Porsche
yeah.
went, we're going
Yes,
to make a cool station wagon that isn't based on a Panamera or a Taycan. It looks so good.
Yeah.
A lowered Macan GTS, it just works. Also,
Interestingly, when we get to our worst SUV videos, I'm going to love that section.
There's a lot.
Just going to put them all in.
spoiler alert, there's a lot.
Yes.
That's a long list. I think there's something special about Porsches that I don't know how they engineer it, but when you drive on, I've driven Macans versus Q5s versus Tiguans, like all the same sort of platforms, and the Porsches, there's something, I don't know how they do it. They feel special. And they feel special, most importantly, at any speed. Just cruising around, the steering, the response, it really feels like there's nice balance of it, even when you're kind of at 5/10.
Yeah.
Special thing.
They're pretty good.
Also, pricing-wise, you can get early ones for like $50,000. That's a lot of car for 50 grand.
They throw in the sump leak for that. Sorry.
the other end of the spectrum, you're looking at about $180,000 for expensive ones,
Yeah.
and they still probably have a sump link.
Oh, they do. They all do.
Yeah. Okay, next category, convertibles.
Yeah. Short list of nominees here for the good ones.
Yes. First nominee, Honda S660.
Great car.
Great car if
Yeah.
you can fit in it.
Yeah. Looks great. And then when you get much closer, you realise just how small they are.
It is tiny.
Proportionally, it's a great looking car, but unbelievably small. Yeah.
Reliability,
Excellent.
fantastic. It's expensive for what it is, because you're looking, maybe up to $45,000
Yeah.
for something that's about the same size as a bathtub.
Yeah. Cool, but bloody dear.
Yeah, for what it is.
Lotus Elise.
What a
Yeah.
car dear to my heart.
Yeah. Cool car. Yeah.
Unbelievably good. I should mention that the guys that import Lotus to Australia are simply Sportscars, quite literally neighbours of mine. I live almost across the road. Hard to find a more supportive company when it comes to Lotus. The support for Elises, Exiges, doesn't matter what it is, excellent company to deal with. And with a Toyota engine, what don't you love?
Pretty good.
Reliability of a Toyota Corolla engine with a supercharger on it, possibly. Lightweight.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Pretty good.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
But the winner, of course we all know the winner,
Can't compete really.
Mazda MX-5.
Yeah.
Which one? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Whichever one you can afford.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think
Pick a
we-
price point, get that car.
We've now reviewed NA, NC and ND. We're getting to an NB. There's a special NB video coming. They're all fantastic. They've
Yeah.
all got their pros and cons. I just think buy the one you like the best.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
has the lowest kilometres, best condition that you can afford.
And some say the later models got big and fat and heavy. That's not really true. You drive one on track and you just go, this is perfectly balanced. It's light to touch. All the controls are similarly weighted. It's just such a good all-rounder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also with that, so NC is the bigger one. I argue that's actually the easier one to actually live with.
Yeah.
The ND can be a struggle for really tall people to get in.
Yeah, right.
So you've kind of got an MX-5 to suit all tastes, all budgets.
When did they bring in cup holders?
I think
Or did they-
NC.
It was late.
Yeah. You don't need couple
No.
hours. Yeah. Just breathe in the rain as you drive through it. Yeah, MX-5. It's just
It's
a
a winner.
no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a winner.
Like, look at the pricing. 10 grand to 60 grand. So
Yeah.
you've got whatever you want. Whatever you want, just get an MX-5.
Yeah, and if you want to go racing, there are plenty of them that are race cars that are for sale as well. There's one for everybody.
The NC we filmed,
Yeah.
that is that guy's daily driver and his race car.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of lap records for that category of car.
Every track day or hill climb you go to, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, Chris.
Good reason for that.
Chris's MX-5, that is up there with some of the best cars I've ever driven.
Yeah.
Absolutely outrageously good car.
Very good.
You know what? Even if you don't want to buy an MX-5, just go buy one anyway, because it will make your life better. Okay, sports cars under $100,000.
Now, what's the definition of a sports car here?
Okay, I think.
2 doors?
Yeah, I think it's got to be a car that things like practicality are down the priority list.
Yeah. All of the nominees here have 2 doors.
Yeah, I think 2 doors technically has to be a sports car.
Yeah, fair call.
A sports car technically has to have, let's say, 2 doors, coupe-ish kind of body. It's got to prioritise driver enjoyment and some level of
So
performance.
that excludes Commodore Utes, right?
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because a lot of guys that own V8 Commodore Utes don't actually put anything in the back, so therefore I suppose it could be a sports car.
Yeah.
But we're not going to add it in here. Another one of my nominees, it's the Audi TT, but the base model front-wheel drive 2-litre turbo, which is basically a Golf GTI performance wrapped in a sexier body. That is a super underrated car. I feel like the TTS and even the RS, they get all the attention because they're really, really quick. But I argue the base model front-wheel drive is more fun more of the time.
Potentially, and cheaper.
Yep.
Similar to a GTI though, really, but same but different. Yeah,
It's basically I think it's basically a GTI performance.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, also on the list, sorry, you going to say something?
No, yeah.
I was going to say the Volkswagen Sirocco.
Sirocco.
Where are they all?
Yeah.
I remember 10 years ago I used to see them all the time.
I think this is a hugely underrated car. We haven't got around to featuring it yet. It is coming. I think visually, just from an
They are
aesthetic standpoint.
Great looking car. I always had a problem with the fact that you could only get them in front wheel drive.
Yeah.
I just think all wheel drive is probably, got potential to be faster, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, I was disappointed the day that they never came in all-wheel drive.
But this is this argument all the time
In
that we
Australia.
have. Like, yeah, all-wheel drive is faster, but as we're proving, faster does not equal more fun.
Agreed.
It comes down to what you want. If you want just blatant, straight line speed and out of a corner speed, cool, all-wheel drive, sweet. But yeah, I drove a Sirocco ages ago and it was so much fun. I just hope the reliability and build quality matches the sensational looks, but we'll get to that when we actually review it.
Yeah.
And we both have the same winners here.
Yeah. I've also, one of my winners, runner-up, is the BMW M2.
What a thing. What a thing.
Again, it's expensive, but a great track day car. It's a decent daily. They look okay. They look pretty good.
But again, so many of them are under $100,000. $45,000, $50,000, $60,000 is kind of the kickoff price. Yeah, you can get the comps for 120, 100, or the CS. Yeah, CS? Yeah, for all the monies.
Oh yeah.
Like the pre-LCI cars, they're kicking off $45,000, $50,000, $60,000 ish.
Yeah.
That engine can have a few little issues if pushed too hard, but if looked after,
Not a
can be
bad thing,
reliable.
Tune within the limits.
Yeah. Post LCI, faster, very strong powertrain there.
Yeah.
Really, it doesn't matter which M2, they're just fantastic.
Yeah, all pretty good, yeah.
That's a good example. When we did that review, that was one of those cars that I'm a massive fan of that car, and I was hoping it, met the expectations. It exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Although
The winner, no surprise here really though.
it is officially known as the Toyo Baru GBR86Z,
Yeah.
the newer shaped one.
Yeah.
This value for money,
Yeah, they're pretty good.
it doesn't matter what speed you're doing, these are so enjoyable, great tuning platform with the new 2.4 litre, actually has decent torque and not that torque dip of the earlier ones.
Did you see the one all over the internet at the moment where they've got the GR Yaris running gear under it?
Yes.
And engine? It's kind of cool. I've got a few issues with it, but overall it's pretty cool.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I thought it's a very cool car, great clickbait. I think they could have just done the same thing to a GR Yaris or a GR Corolla and it'd be just as fast. But I think a better conversion for one of those is the GR Yaris engine, but make it rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea for a car. I would build one of those if I didn't have too many projects already. I think that's a great build.
My only issue with it was if you have a look at the pictures, I'm sure Cal will put pictures up now, look at where the engine is versus where the front wheels are.
Yeah.
The engine's a fair chunk in front of the front wheels.
It is very far forward, and I had to do that for packaging reasons, obviously, just to get the engine far enough to get the wheels in the front guards.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I'm a bit bothered by it. Like I said, it's great for clickbait, but I don't think the balance of that car is probably going to be that great.
If they'd gone dry sump and then moved the engine back a little bit.
Well, because of the gearbox, it's all
of course.
horizontally, like it's all transversely mounted, so the drive shafts are right at the front. So
Clever, but maybe, it would be interesting to see if it actually can meet the looks and what they were trying to achieve.
yeah, as I said, put the GR Yaris motor in it, put it longitudinally with a nice Quave straight cut gearbox behind it. It'd be a very cool car.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Also, pricing for these tops out at $50,000.
It's a good value for money.
Yeah.
It is.
Honestly, I know people are going to go, they're not fast enough. Well, no, you're wrong. Go drive one. They're a fantastic car.
Get one on track. It's
Yeah.
for the similar reasons as the MX-5, really.
Yeah.
It's very similar platform, really. Totally different, but same idea, same concept, really.
Yeah, same.
Cheap and rear-wheel drive and affordable.
Yeah. Okay, now we're getting serious. Sports cars, $100,000 to $250,000.
Yeah.
That's a huge price range,
It's a
obviously.
lot of money,
And there's a
yeah.
lot of cars in this category.
Yeah.
Let's just smash through the nominees here.
Yep.
Audi R8.
Yep.
Fantastic. Personally, I'd actually go the V8 over the V10 because it's a little bit cheaper. And
V10 sounds better, but that's subjective.
I know that V10's pretty amazing, but a V8 with a manual box. Anyway,
Yeah.
super underrated. Audi TT RS.
Yeah,
Yep.
nothing wrong with it. On the list.
Yep. Again, it's like the RS3, but for me, it's just the steering. Just
I get it.
Yeah.
Porsche Cayman S is on the list.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which one.
Yeah, either
any
one.
Cayman S, actually any GTS.
Yeah.
Any Porsche Cayman.
Yeah.
It's super underrated. A lot of people don't look at them because they actually want a 911.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, quite often a Cayman is some ways better than a 911, depending on pricing and all that sort of
And
stuff.
I'll touch on this a bit more later, but the Porsche platform is infinitely tunable and modifiable. Modifiable, that's a word.
In both mid-engine and rear-engine.
Yeah. And it's a good all-rounder, good starting point.
Yep. Lotus Exige and the new Emira.
That Emira is stunning looking car.
Yeah.
They look incredible.
It's one of the few cars that looks great in pictures and even better in the metal. Or
Absolutely nails the looks of that car. Yeah.
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 Excellent car. And again, shout out to Simply Sportscars because the backup support's fantastic. Also, Exige, I've spent so much time in an Exige. That gives you all of the theatre of something like a Lamborghini for, in some cases, a tenth of the price.
Yeah.
And it is outrageously good. But we both agree on the winner here. It's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah. It's the Nissan R35 GTR.
I can't stop thinking about this thing. So the one we filmed, even, I think it was yesterday, I think I was just driving and daydreaming and I just thought, I really wish I had that paddle shift feel of that GTR again. I forgot how brilliant that car is.
And how cool is it I mean, how many years have they been making that car now?
I think 3,000 years.
Yeah, like, and it's basically the same car from start to finish, although they're all totally different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's essentially, so many of the parts are interchangeable and upgradable, and the new ones are eye-wateringly expensive.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But the older ones
Well, you can
are
get
affordable.
$70,000, $80,000, $90,000. Granted, the good imports are sort of $100,000.
Yep.
But I still think, and I've been so fortunate to drive, I don't know how many R35s I've driven now, but that one, the early one, that's where it's at, because it feels raw. And I said it in the video, it's funny for a car that was such a technical tour de force, it feels so old school and mechanical and analog.
A lot of owners, people who drive them say that. Yeah, the gearbox clunks and bangs, but everyone goes, yeah, but I love that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah. And the thing nobody talks about, everybody knows they're capable of crazy performance times, but around town, because of all the clunks and noises and whatnot, it's just so much fun to drive everywhere. And then when you actually give it the beans, you've got this enormous performance envelope to play in. I think that is...
It's funny, people complain about Volkswagen DSGs in car parks, how they're lurchy and clunky and a bit problematic. No one's complaining about a GTR R35. Yeah, but that's great. We love that.
I think I said it in the video. That is an actual racing car doing a terrible job at pretending to be a road car. That is...
I must admit, I wasn't drawn to the looks of them back in the day. My favourite was also always the R32 because I just like the look of it. And I was sort of disappointed as the years went on, and the disappointment continued in R35. Oh, it doesn't look any good, but I was completely wrong. I'm okay to admit that. I was completely wrong. They look so good.
Epic car. Epic car.
Yep.
Okay, now let's get really serious, and we'll smash through this because this is dumb money. And whatever we say, no one's going to listen to us, because when you've got $250,000 to $500,000, you're just going to buy whatever you want. So these are just our picks. Nominees, first of all, Sam, the genius behind the camera and our offsider in ReDriven, his personal pick, Lamborghini Gallardo, but with a manual transmission, completely stock, in the silver colour.
Lovely car.
V10.
Yep. Good thing. Good
Manual
all-rounder.
box.
Not many. I don't feel Lamborghinis are often really good at race cars. I don't think that's a good race car either, but it's still worthy to be on the list.
I think as well, it's one of the last Lamborghinis that look cool.
Yeah.
Lamborghinis after this, I know the Lamborghini is kind of the Kanye of the car world, and we need these ridiculous we need these ridiculous rock or rap stars to be bananas, and a Lamborghini should be an overtly designed car, but I think Lamborghini there got really cool. I don't think modern Lamborghinis after this are cool. They're too shouty. They're too look at me.
And I just wanted, before people come out with pitchforks about how Lamborghinis aren't real race cars, I just think they're fast and they're good, fast things on track. But I just think for that money, you can buy something out of the box that is a better racing type of car.
Which we're going to get to. Next up, this one really hurts me because it's my all-time favourite car, but I think there's a better car for this kind of money. It's the Honda NSX Type R, or really any old school NSX.
Yeah, quick, but also very collectible. So there's a problem there. There's a disparity between I want one to go fast in, but I don't want to go fast in one because they're way too valuable now.
The issue is, and I've got a couple of people that I've dealt with that were going to buy NSXs, and they actually reached out because of my fandom of the NSX. And the reason they didn't, and also the reason they didn't buy an R34 GTR or even an RX-7 was the insurance costs. They are insane to insure. That's why the winner of this particular category is a Porsche 911. Any of them. Personally, I'd go a 997 GT3. But really,
they're all good. Pick your price point and get into it, I say.
Anywhere from a 996 that's had the IMS bearing thing sorted out, 997 I think is the personal pick, but right through to 992s, just whatever your budget is, get a 911 because they've got great support. Parts at this price point aren't too bad. There's pedigree there.
And they're expensive cars, but I think straight out of the box, any of them is closer to a race car than most cars in that price point.
Absolutely. We have a late inclusion into the categories here because we weren't going to throw this in, but then we thought, why not? It's GT cars. So we're talking something that can get you from Melbourne to Sydney on the Hume and then up to Brisbane very comfortably. You're not going to have a sore back or bum when you get out of it. But then at the same time, if you want to take the old pack between Sydney and Newcastle and have a bit of a blast, it's still going to be absolutely hilarious to drive. Classic GT car.
Aston Martin DB12.
Brilliant. Here's the Superleggera. I've had a lot of time with that car, and it was a very, very, very special thing.
Hard. Maybe I'm just a cheap bogan. I find it hard to relate to these cars. I'll just be honest about that.
They're very expensive. We're talking $500,000, potentially more, which is ridiculous and is nerve-wracking when you're responsible for one. But there's another car as a nominee which I think actually ticks even more boxes than the DB12, which is the Ferrari 550 Maranello, but the JDM import.
Incredible car. Not cheap.
No, V12, manual shift. Also, I think this is almost peak Ferrari in terms of design. Pricing-wise, okay, you're looking $250,000, $300,000, but with the JDM imports, they can be substantially cheaper than that. We're working on maybe doing something with the JDM import 550 Maranello. If you'd like to see that, let us know in the comments.
They want to see that.
I hope so.
I want to see that.
I want to see that. I just want to experience it. But the winner here, again, we both agree on this.
It's the Lexus LC500.
What?
How good do they look? Seriously.
This is that car.
Oh wait, people are going to think we're Lexus fanboys.
No, this is a special car.
I'm a Lexus fanboy. Sorry.
This thing is utterly stunning. It's one of the few cars that looks almost exactly like the concept car. It's also a car that, for the pricing, like kicking off from about $120,000, it does make Ferraris of that ilk seem extremely expensive. Because if you go and plonk an F12 next to a LC500 in front of somebody that doesn't know anything about cars, I think the Lexus holds its own easily.
People are going to think they're both the same price bracket.
Should also say we're talking about the V8 one.
Oh yeah.
I know the Hybrid 6 is quick and makes sense. Just get the V8.
Whatever. Get the V8.
Sounds amazing, drives amazing, looks amazing. What an epic car that is. So that's our picks for the performance cars that you should buy in 2024 that we also would personally love. Highly recommend checking out the ones that we reckon you should avoid that we also wouldn't buy. The link for that will be down below if the video's out yet. Any closing words?
Well, just tell us what you think. Tell us what we missed. Because there's probably a few.
There's a stack of cars we couldn't cover. If we tried to cover every single performance car, we'd be here for days and days and days. So these are just the top picks. We'll see you in the ones that you shouldn't buy.